What's up, guys? How's it going? This is Dave Sebastian, coordinator of Mentoring Arts Programming with Wayside Youth and Family. I am back with you again today. We are working on collage today, working with the Wormwood comic, which is a very cool and interesting book. Let me see if I can find the cover. Oh, there we go. This is the Wormwood comic. Cool drawings, very interesting, tentacly kind of stuff. And that's what we're working with today. We're going to do a collage today. We left off yesterday right here. This is how far we had gotten so far. How far we've gotten so far. This is where we got to yesterday. So this is the layout phase. And that takes a little bit of time, but it went pretty quick yesterday. We did it about an hour and a half. Now today we're going to do about the same. I'll be with you till about 3:20, 3:25, and we're going to work on this collage. I got a little bit more done last night, so let me show you what that was. Gotta just pull it up. Right. So this is sideways, and I apologize for that, but because of the size of the piece, it's been hard to show you everything at once. But this is the full layout that I decided that we would work with. Now the key is going to be to make that work in a visual sense in addition to the linear sense. So what I'm going to try to do with the collage is to tell a story based in some ways on the comic itself. The comic is basically about Wormwood fighting monsters of all different kinds. So in our story, he will fight one monster that births a second monster in the middle, and ultimately, can't really remember how I ended it. Sort of trails off, or he beats the monsters, right? So that's what we're gonna do today. We're working with. Let me show you. What? We're going to work on this large artist board. This is a Blick artist board, and it is a gessoed surface mixed with ceramic. So when they bake this onto the masonite box, it becomes like a hard sort of like a Formica tabletop. A really cool thing to work on with collaging, because as you're using this tool, which is a brayer, and you're rolling on this thing, you could put a lot of pressure on it, where in a canvas it would bend, and that kind of stuff. So this is the surface that I've been working with on most of my collages. This one here is number 75. I haven't done collages in a couple of weeks because I've been working on a huge number of other types of things. And if you guys follow me here or on Facebook, you've seen a number of them. One of the great things about streaming is how much artwork you get done. I mean, I get a lot of artwork done, so it's a really hugely positive kind of experience, I want to grab one more machine. This is my MacBook Pro. I'm using a very interesting tool called Switcher Studio, and it is a virtual video production program, and allows me to mix video and that kind of stuff. A lot of my stuff is now underneath this computer. There we go. We need this computer because I want to keep an eye on my reference, which is the photo I just showed you guys. That guy is going to be all of what I decided to do. You know what I mean? How far we got, that kind of thing. So I just want to get this guy up so I can look at it. So over here I have my reference, and And then here we have the space. I feel like the lighting is still not great here. Yesterday our lighting was bad. Today, I don't know. Looks about the same. If I'm weirdly I'm lit in a strange way. I'm trying some new stuff. You know what I mean? Collage requires a pretty good amount of light because we're cutting, tiny pieces and stuff. What we're going to use for tools is the Blick self-healing cutting board. This is a small one. The desk behind me has the 18 by 24 size at the size of this. For this particular project, we've already cut out the big cuts. So now we're going to move into more detailed cuts, and we're going to need the smaller surface to do it. This is a Fisker matte knife. I use X-Actos very often, but for this particular project, collaging, I tend to do a lot of cutting, and the whole body is made of like a soft silicone. So again, not like I've ever gotten a scab or a blister on my finger from cutting, but you definitely make sure you won't get one if it's coated in silicone. All right. Next thing we need that we're going to use, I'm going to get my tape out of here, is this. This is our paper spatula. Oh, for crying out loud. Misplaced my water. I'm using these hobby blades here. These are pretty cool. Everybody uses X-Acto, and that's a great idea, but X-Acto, this is 100 blades, and 100 X-Acto blades cost like about $25 or $30. Those were like $5 or $6, and I'll be honest with you, the blade is just as sharp. Or even if you go through them a lot, he has 100. So if you go through them slightly faster, I don't know, 100's going to last me at least through today. I don't use a ton. Every time I start a new collage project, I use a new blade, or if I open a paint bottle or something with the old blade. And that's kind of as far as the tools we're going to use in the gear. The Wormwood comic is drawn by Ben Templesmith. I was lucky enough to meet Ben at Boston's Comic-Con. I believe it was about 5 years ago. Great guy, super accessible, super interesting. His artwork is produced through a combination of brilliant draftsmanship and Photoshop, and the Photoshop effects are really, really interesting. I totally dig it. I think that everybody should see his work because it's really powerful and really interesting. So I'd like you guys to try to enjoy it as much as you can, to try to maybe look at some of his stuff. Again, this is this is the collage where we're at. I have it up the right way this time. So get a look at it. Feel that effect. That like this. There's some things there that you couldn't do just drawing. You know what I mean? Like his effects, his changes, his lighting and stuff. Like these are all like really cool things. I think it's brilliant. He spent a lot of time with everybody in comics asking him how he did it, and that is so besides the point. Anybody can use Photoshop, behind their drawings, but it's his skill is a lot of it. So anyway, that's Ben Templesmith. I also wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my programming. Again, my title is Coordinator of Mentoring Arts Programming for Wayside, and that's Wayside Youth and Family, out of Framingham. We are a human service agency that works with young adults and their families and helping out with whatever they can do. They help out with a lot of outpatient therapies and integration. Emergency services and all kinds of mental health type stuff. They and my program exist through partnerships with the Department of Mental Health. My program, which is called Greenhouse Graphics, which if you're here with me, that's where we are. Greenhouse Graphics is a Department of Mental Health funded program about bringing art and the creative process to young adults as an alternate engagement method. I've built a studio in the basement of Tempo Young Adult Resource Center in Framingham at 68 Henry Street. And that space is about trying to find a way to engage the young adults that are that come to the Young Adult Resource Center in a different way than the idea of, what can we do to help you, sort of. Where this is kind of, a lot of the folks who come to Tempo aren't looking for help. They're looking for a place to hang out, looking for a place to do their laundry, take a shower, get some food, just hang out, chill. And so having a place where you can come and do artwork and be yourself and talk about, kind of whatever you want, it was an idea that I feel like had some great legs. And that's how I found myself working with Wayside, is we created this, that they created an opportunity for programming, and I came in and created the programming. I am in that studio on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10:30 to 3 when they allow us to be open. And on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I take the program on the road. This is the virtual version of my road program, which is called TAG, the Art Group. And I have been really enjoying doing this work on YouTube and Facebook, because I feel like I can reach a lot more people than I could waiting in the basement or even going out in the community, because you have to recruit and collect, in a way, young adults to work with. Where here it simply exists, and you come if you're interested. And if you're not interested in the live aspects of it, all of my recordings obviously are here on the channel, so you can watch anything you want anytime you want. And in the next couple of weeks and stuff, I'm going to go back and edit all of those videos to clean them up and to make some aspects of it a little quicker, and that kind of stuff. So like, if folks are hesitating because of the commitment, that's an opportunity. And I realize I'm speaking to the converted, right? Because if you're sitting here listening to me, I already got you coming here. So, but if you know any other folks that might be interested, I think that would be, I would really appreciate it, So that's kind of the spiel-y sort of stuff. I always hate to call it that. It seems not super nice. So a couple of things that are going to happen while we're doing this stuff. Like, a big part of what I do for the collages is no text. I've picked a couple of panels, a couple of word balloons that I'm going to leave, but the bulk of the text has to be removed or covered. So that's one of the tasks involved. Another one is we're going to go backwards creating the collage. I'm going to start at the bottom right corner and go to the top left corner. That's kind of just always how I've always worked. I like it. I think it's a cool way to go. And really, everything tends to overlap, from the top to the bottom. As we're working, we're placing this piece over that one and this one over that one. And so we're working across. And then for me, I'm working across like this, and then I tend to start over here. Because if I'm telling a story like, Billy and the dog walk to the store, you know what I mean? So that's how I would work it in a normal text method. But occasionally it jumps up and down a little. But everything kind of goes overlapping from the top corner to the bottom. So then if we're building, we have to build from the bottom corner to the top. All right. So this particular piece starts in the middle of the bottom as opposed to the side. So the first thing we have to do is pull those out. Another big thing, which unfortunately is exactly what happened kind of yesterday, which is that we lay out everything again so we can see where the pieces we need are. Since we're starting down here, we have a lot of room here in front of me that we can lay out a whole bunch of the stuff we're going to cut out. Right. So there'll be plenty of room for that. Tools and stuff have their own space. So all we're going to do is just lay everybody out again. Let me do this. All right. So all we want to do is be able to see where everything is. This piece here happens to be one of the first ones we're going to glue down. I paint the surface black for transitional purposes, and then for this, because with this artwork on this black background, you can see it real good. The only thing is it gets a little bit sticky. Meaning once you put things down, sometimes they don't want to move quite as well. So it is what it is. All right. This one here, which has him fighting, is also a middle piece, like right down here on the bottom. In fact, this right here, right there. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, this is the monster attacking with the tentacles in his mouth. I love it. So this one actually wouldn't be a bad one to start with, because this is a good corner piece. You know what I mean? Like yesterday I was talking about corners and how important corners are. You have to have a place, like a rock to build on. And corners are a powerful way to do that. Like a puzzle. I don't know, and I'm sure people out there have done puzzles. I don't really like puzzles personally, but it kind of works the same way. You have to figure out a way to engage this larger project. This particular collage is probably only have maybe 30 or 40 pieces because the images are extremely large. But I've done pieces that had several hundred pieces, collages that did several hundred pieces, and it is very easy to get overwhelmed. In fact, I feel like I spend the entire experience being overwhelmed. But the best way to make sense of something like that is to start somewhere, to give yourself somewhere to begin. And so like a puzzle, you can begin at the corners, and that's how I like to do it. So we got to keep laying out the rest of our images, our pieces, so that we can see them. Every time I do this, I'm also trying to place some stuff kind of generally where I think it's going to, that it's going to go, where our design has decided it's going to go. Those ones are going to go up there. All right, so. All right. Here's another one of our pieces we need for the bottom. Last two pieces are kind of smaller Wormwood pieces. All right. This is our last panel right here. Our last piece, all the way in the corner. Again, corners. Need one more piece for that. That's nothing. Okay, keep looking, keep moving through the pile. I'm always very good at losing at least some of the pieces while I'm setting it up. Did I say some? More like most. Here's another corner piece that we're going to use, and now that we know, now that we have it, it's still going to probably overlap some stuff, but we're just going to throw it where it goes. That's just kind of a general spot. Kind of poking around, see if I can get any, more stuff that kind of goes down there. There's just one other wide piece that we're going to use, which I just have to find. This one's going to go right here. Okay. Here is where the text, I believe it's the only text I'm going to use, which is these two panels right here. Only problem with my camera placement is I can't really zoom in on the bottom. Want me to try to fix it, or you think it's going to be okay? In any case, down here in this corner, this is going to be the only text that I use. But for this particular one, we're going to glue this one on the left first. And what we're going to use for glue is gel medium, which is this stuff right here. We're also using a couple of different brushes. I'm using the 1-inch Liquitex Freestyle brush, really great brush, totally get one of those. This size isn't hard to get, it's the large size that's hard to get. I'm considering doing like a street sign size collage for the city of Fitchburg, and I would be using the much larger brush. But excuse me, I started using Mod Podge to glue my pieces, which works great. You know, the only risk they say is possible yellowing. Magazines don't yellow, and anything I've ever collaged that was newsprint or paper, I kind of want to yellow. So it's not a big deal. But I started using Mod Podge, and these are brushes that Mod Podge themselves produce. These are totally junk, but the thing that makes them okay is that they're very short hair brushes. With glue, you know, you need really short stuff. In fact, even this is just a little bit longer than this one. The stiffness of this one works really well. Now, I had used the Mod Podge version of this, and it works fine. You know, it's just sort of like, I like this one better. Or I was looking at something more stable. This guy is already losing his nails and stuff. Like, I'll be lucky if I get through another collage with this. And the Liquitex is obviously made a little bit better, and then is, of course, slightly newer. So, it is what it is. So, man, I hate that saying. I gotta stop saying that. All right, so we want to make sure we keep all of our stuff laid out, like I was saying. There's still a lot overlapped here that I can't even see. So we're going to still lay out a few more. We know that one's going to be up there. Oh, all right. We know this guy's going to go there. Alright, so this is pretty much like the bottom half, how it's looking. So we're going to start like laying this stuff in. The first one we're going to lay in is this one here, and then we're going to kind of go from there. I am still kind of searching for one more missing piece over here. So just 1 second. Make sure I can see everything I need to see. Alright. Looks like we got pretty much everything laid out. Somehow I've lost one piece, but we're going to work with it anyway. Cool. All right, so we're going to start with this guy right here. So we're going to back this other stuff off and just get in here and lay it out. So this guy is gel medium, like I said. It works really well. I love it. I used to use Mod Podge, like I said, which is cool, but it's glue, which is fine, except glue kind of dries pretty fast and gets stuck in the brush really good. And I found that, like, after a while of spending, like, a long time trying to clean a brush out, that I would go ahead and try something different. And this is paint minus the pigment. And so that made it really responsive to additional painting and stuff. I work with acrylic a lot, so being acrylic-ish wound up being a really good fit for me. So I have switched over. What I do is I do all my gluing with gel medium, and then at the end I do a coat of Mod Podge on top, because I like the finish that Mod Podge gives you, the ultra flat kind of thing. Every time you do this work, you learn something, and the last one I did, I learned that you really don't want to brush your gel medium on both directions, because you actually take it off in the second pass. So don't do that. It's extremely foolish. I use this brayer to get things as flat as I can. One of the things with the brayer that's something to watch out for is getting glue on it. What you don't want to do is roll right through the glue, because then that is going to spread the glue everywhere you go. And you only want to paint one side of your artwork at a time, because it'll ripple, obviously, right? All right, so one of the things that they always say is to not stick in one area, right? So if you're working over here, you want to let that dry before you glue something else to there. So we want to switch to the other side. Problem with that is the pieces we have on the other side are meant to overlap. But this large piece here looks pretty good and is in a place that we want it to be. We just built up everything around it that we know is going to be there, right? So it definitely all overlaps. These guys down here overlap each other. These pieces overlap. So it's really like this big piece is the next one we should do, right? Now, sometimes I lose my place, which is extremely foolish. Where the bottom should be. So you can just make a mark with a marker of some kind. Right there and right there. Nobody's going to see that because the rest of the collage will cover it, but it'll give us a place. Should have done one over here too, because you really want to make sure you have glue all the way across your surface where the collage paper is going to be. You don't, like I said, you don't have to use a real heck of a lot of glue, but you want to make sure you use enough to glue the piece down, right? So like I said, try to go like one direction. We're hoping to avoid pooling, but it's really important that we get coverage, And I keep switching the brush back and forth because it holds glue on one side. You want to make sure if you see anything that looks light. I was reading recently that they say if it's white, then you know it's good to go. And I don't know if that's true. I've had both, white and clear, and white's the better one, and clear's the better one. And mistake you don't want to make is covering the marks you made for where you want the piece to live. Now, one thing Mod Podge really has over gel medium is this what I like to think of as like shimmy. Like you can move the piece a little bit when you put it down. It's not just gonna be stuck there, which the first piece I ever did many years before this project, I used spray 77, and when the artwork touches it, that's where it's going. Otherwise, you just peel it apart, you know, which is super crappy. All right, we got that piece down. So now the same problem. So now we're shifting over here. So now we can, in theory, go back over this side. And really only putting like a small piece on this side. Right, which is this Wormwood image. That's going to come in about right there. Is it going to go over the piece above it though? Oh no, that piece is going to overlap again to cover these words. All right, sometimes we're lucky enough that there's enough glue on the brush to not even have to lay it out again. You just slide it in. And they go up high enough. Okay. So get them in there nice and flat, bray them in. All right. And there we go on that guy. So unfortunately, now that we've gone over there, we have to figure out where to go next. I think the next piece up that we wanted to use was this straight across Do I Know You panel, which is here, right? You guys remember this one? So this one's going to come through like right here. Make sure we get this guy down really good. Oh. There we go. Careful you don't glue your piece down when you're trying to bray something else. So this one's going to want to go like right here. Try to keep it as square as you can and take a look at it. Not bad, not bad. Stuff is coming along. Looking for the next thing. All right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just giving everything a sec to dry because we're really running out of places to run to. We really want to start, you know, down here. So we're right in next to this guy, and the next couple of pieces overlap over each other. And the first one is going to go like right here. Damn it, man, I wish I could show you guys more. That's all we got. See it a little bit, right? A little bit. So this guy is going to go right in here, and the next piece is going to overlap over that. Right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But this one, I think we're going to have to trim this guy up a little. And he's going to come in over here. So maybe we have a minute or two. Whoops. That is not. You got to be careful of that. You know what I mean? That's when you accidentally glue something down where it's not supposed to be. And this is not supposed to be there. In fact, it's going to go over here. All right, so now I think we've kind of given at least a little bit of time to dry. Let's see, one more big piece, this one here. So this piece here actually going to go just above where we're working right now. So like here, right? So since that guy's there, and we want to overlap, you know, a bunch of that, oh, sorry about that. Okay, just want to trim this corner real quick. don't want to leave gel medium or Mod Podge sitting like that for any length of time, because at least on other artwork, on this black background, it doesn't matter that much. But on other artwork, it's going to leave the shape of the pour on it. So that shape that we just squeezed, the square, it would leave that. Now, all of this stuff, gel medium, Mod Podge, it all dries clear. So it wouldn't leave that forever. But it would leave it and it kind of looks crappy. So it's in your best interest to... Actually, I'm just going to screw it and do that. All right. Braid up. Okay. So now we want to work with the big monster dude, or yeah. I guess we kind of leave Wormwood mid-battle. You know, he's kind of right in the middle. All right. So one of the things I liked was when I brought this piece in, it kind of fit together with the stuff coming out of Wormwood and the panel next to it. All right. Whoops. Alright, so we're going to figure out what I had in mind when I made these things fit together. Oh, there we go. Alright. So we're going to glue this guy down. Mod Podge says on the back, don't paint the other side of your artwork until your first side is dry. Occasionally I've had to break that rule, but I find it's a pretty good one. You know, because if you paint on the other piece too soon, the same thing, it gets like soft. You know what I mean? And what you don't want is, again, rippled paper. One of the defining parts of my collages, and not necessarily everyone's, because everybody's their own, does their own stuff, is that they're really flat. You know, I like that. Not going to say I haven't done collages that had some depth to them. I did an Underdog one not too long ago. You know, came out pretty good. Love Underdog, but it was a hardcover kids book, so I wound up having some bump. And I actually pretty recently did Hong Kong Phooey, and it also had the same thing going on with a little bit of... I used the cover, which was heavy cardboard, and then the pages in between all had some weight to them. So, all right. So now we braid this guy in, and where do we go from here? We're sort of still trying to jump around a little bit to see if we can make everything work. I think this one we're going to trim him out just right in here next to the text, or maybe even closer, depending on how that looks. So this we could put right here, and it's going to eliminate this bit of text coming out of Wormwood's mouth there. But we don't really want to cover up too much of this tentacle action. Now we're going to trim this again anyway, because we're going to block sections anyway, because the next piece goes right in that same spot. I think we're going to take this text out right here. Like I said, taking text out is a part of it. All right. So this is the piece that's going to go just up here, with this one going on top of this guy, down enough that he looks like he has 4 arms, which I dig. Okay, so now we're going to put this guy in here, and we're going to figure out what we have to do with the trim. I saved this piece that we just cut off, just in case we need it, to patch in here. Oops. Yeah, we got. I saved that piece in case we need it. This guy's going to go right in here. Okay. That guy in there. Now it's funny, I can start to feel tooth, which is the 2 layers on top of each other. You know what I mean? Doing their thing. All right. Okay. So now that we got this bottom piece on, we could do this one. There's that wiggle room. Too much wiggle. Too much wiggle. Okay. Now here is definitely not dry yet, so we want to kind of poke around and see what else we can use and what else is going to happen. All right, we're going to have this guy go right in here. Oh yeah, right in here, and this guy is a big guy that we're going to use here. I'm actually using a really small piece of that, so I think we're going to trim this guy down quite a bit too. We'll just take the monster out. So at this stage, I'm not ever throwing anything away because you never know when something might need to be, it might need something in a given spot. So you want to make sure that you don't let anything, throw anything away at this particular point. Now we kind of just put that guy down. So I'm a little bit concerned about gluing directly in there right away. I think we're going to go down here instead. There we go. So that guy moved just a little while I was placing it there. Tremendously inconvenient. All right. You also want to try to stay away from bubbles, anything like that. So the next piece that we have that we're going to use, again, you got to be careful about overlapping things because things overlapped can get screwed up really, really damn quick or rippled. Now this stuff will level itself, like after a while when it dries, it'll pull most of the air bubbles out. But that's no reason to be sloppy. This one we're going to bring in right here because the monster, we're kind of creating an arc of the monster coming to eat this guy. But once we got this one down, we can go ahead and put this one in. It overlaps a little bit, but not a huge amount. Right? So we're getting a lot of this bottom happening, like real good, cooking along, Our next piece that we're going to drop in is this one. This one's going to come in right here. Going to line it up with the piece below it. Kind of try to keep some continuity going. We trimmed this guy back real good. And he's got to kind of get covered here by a lot of these guys. So maybe we'll hold off on that one. Maybe trim this guy back a little bit towards the bottom. Sometimes, you know, the best laid plans, right? So this, how I wanted this to work right here is not gonna work. But I do have this extra piece here that I didn't have. This is a piece I really wanted to use, but I lost it in the setup here. There's actually a twin of this piece, which I have also lost. This is, I don't know if you can, anywhere that you can see it. It's two characters screaming. Thinking we're going to use this to cover the words Wormwood. And, okay. All right, but we're going to hold off on both of those so that we can get this guy in. All right, we're going to trim him again. All right. Okay. Just want to take a quick look at something. Okay. No, don't want to do that, because that will leave a mark. If we go like this, at least we know where we want the height to be. Okay. Now we decided where we needed this guy to go. Okay. Looks like our line of glue didn't quite go up high enough. This part right here is a little touchy, because if you pull up too much, you compromise the glue on the whole piece, and if you don't pull up enough, you create a crease. You know, it's kind of a pain. Once you get that guy down, he's got a little glue on the outside, so try not to have that be everywhere. All right, so now we got that piece up there happening. We got a lot of wet glue around, so we got to kind of hold off a sec on that. Just on the wet glue. This guy's going to go all the way over here in a spot that'll have the other little wormwood face next to it. Right, just got to find it. Oh, there we go. both of those guys are going to go right there, so I might as well just hit the whole area up. Alright. Oh, that would be rushing it. If the artwork moves when you go to bray it, that means you didn't push it down enough. Also, watch out for rubbing things and taking the ink off. That's one of the only things that is challenging about working on magazine paper, is that if you rub it hard enough, you take you take the surface off. Or if it gets damp and you rub it, say like these guys don't want to stay yet. Alright. Now where do we go next? We got some wet glue over here, some wet glue over there. Okay, I think we're going to use this one and bring it in right here. They can kind of cover the words on Wormwood. And then this guy's going to come in across right here. Alright, I think that's going to be what it looks like. Oh, never bump out your contact lens. Alright, so we're going to pull that out. Definitely rushing it a little because I want to try to get as much done as I can in the time we have. I don't know if I said I have to leave about 3:30 today, so I just need to be, we're going to have to end a few minutes early for that. All right. Glue over here, not sure. It actually doesn't look bad, but it wasn't stuck enough. Keep braying along. One of the other problems we were having with the other pieces is glue gets on the brayer and then it sticks on the front of the artwork and picks it up to try to move it. This kind of sucks. This bottom's looking real good. We're cooking along without a doubt. Next guy is going to come in right here. And we don't so much want to cover much of the other guy. Really just line up with the bottom ones. What do you guys think? Any comments out there? Everybody okay? Still with me? Getting sleepy? All right, so now we're gonna just let stuff dry just for a sec. Sometimes I like to check our brayer for glue, and then just hit kind of everything. You know, the stuff that we know is down. You know, keep an eye out for things like this, which is a little overlap on the very edge. We're gonna probably glue that down or trim it. We glued that guy. Did we glue that guy? No. I meant to, but I did not. Easy to use too much glue. That's why I keep a lot of it on the brush, so that if I find myself in a situation where I have too much glue, I can just use it in the next spot instead of having it be, you know, all over the piece. Don't need to use too much, you know, we just use what we need. I bought like a 64-ounce gel medium, and I've probably done 20 collages with it, and I'm not even close to finishing it. I think I'll probably have it for at least the next 3 or 4 years. Whoops, I moved. I want that guy to stay where I put you. Okay. Things looking pretty good. Just keep braying stuff if you think there's any chance of this sticking up or that it's not working. Got really pretty much too much glue there. So I'll just take some away. Alright. Let me glue that one in. Yeah. We got our, I guess what I think of as the victims in here. Next piece. Is this one. So that one's actually like pretty good. It's over a little. Try to keep the brayer clean. The brayer has a sort of a raw rubber surface as opposed to a smooth one, and I feel like it helps because it doesn't allow it to stick down the same. Okay. Another reason I'm not leaving it sitting on the artwork is because I don't want to pick up any glue. All right, where are we at right now? Okay. All right, now we need like the big fighting scene. Okay. Okay. Just one sec, you guys. There we go. One sec, guys. Oh, come on. It can't just be easy, you guys. All right, this guy. I'm gonna go right up here if we got enough glue. Again, don't leave your glue sitting there while you do something stupid. There you go. All right. Breathe this one up. Love that panel right there as they're battling. fighting, shooting. Wow. That just said I had 96 new text messages. I don't know what that means. I think it must be downloading every text message I've ever sent. Which that would probably cover it right there, sir. Man. Alright, we got a big panel. Alright. So this one's going to come in pretty tight here. I don't want it to cover any of this female character here. So I think the deal was I was cutting it like this so that we could get it in tight, and then I was just going to overlap everything else, including this like explosion scene, which is our next one. All right, this guy's going to come in. Oh, we're cooking along, guys. We're getting up here. This guy's going to be right here, up enough that he's not covering anything. Oh yeah, I was thinking we'd overlap more, like all the way over here, so that we don't take away from this conversation. We'd split the difference. Yeah, I like that. This guy has a little bit of border left on the bottom here. This guy's going to overlap this guy like this. That looks good. Okay. 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 Now we're saying we're going to overlap right over that guy with this terrible explosive death scene. Alright. This guy, I think we're going to go with this. Now that would be way too much glue. Oh, this one's not glued. Yikes. Alright, let's see what we can do here. This is not advisable. This is really, really a stupid mistake here. unfortunately, we basically have to drop right in on them. So these two pieces are going to glue not only together, but overlapping. Oh, see, that's the risk. Hold on to these and bray a little easier. Not sure how I'm screwing that up so good. So, I don't think I've ever had things move as much as they had on this. They have on this piece. All right. So we've got about 15 more minutes. I'm hoping we can get maybe 2-3 more pieces in. Alright, got to move our Brea's placement here. Get back in here. Make sure we can see all of our yucky stuff. Everything that we need here. Next piece I'm looking for is another wide piece. Oh yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. This one so if we have this one here, this one, oh, looks like we got a bad corner happening right here. This guy's got a little border left on him too. Alright, so we know that guy's going to fit right in there. So I believe we will trim this guy. Okay. Oh, a little bubble here. There we go. Like I said, when they dry, the air goes, the bubbles tend to go out of them. But okay. This text here doesn't count. He's not speaking English. He's just screaming. So we allow text and screaming. And effects, you know, things like them shooting and stuff. Like, I definitely am fine with those things. In fact, I really like the effects quite a bit. Boy, we're really moving, you guys. I don't think we're going to be able to finish today, but we're definitely cooking along. You know, like we got more than half of this piece, glued. This is a good deal. Next one we need is this Leroy piece, which is going to go like right there. Just like this, right up on it. So that's where that guy's going to go, and we'll continue our path up. We're going to put the Leroy piece in, and then it's overlap again with our really large piece. Need this guy to be ready to drop. You know, I don't know about this meat thing. I might not wind up using that. So this wants to come in like right here. Oh, that's the wrong Leroy piece for right there. I just want to get glue on it. That's the Leroy piece we want to use right there, which is a totally different size. Alright, so that would go there. This guy, I think would want to be under that one, right? Oh no, I guess I had decided over. Well, we know this Leroy piece goes in here. So why don't we call this the last piece we're going to do today. Okay. Like I said, try not to take your glue off. Okay. Brett. What do you guys think? We're like really cooking along. I'd say we're like well over halfway. Really, like moving real quick. Haven't gotten everything done, that I've wanted to do yet, but it's really coming. We're about, I don't know, I'd say we have maybe 10, 15 pieces left. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 25 pieces left. Not that bad. So we will continue working on this on tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I will be at Facebook's Greenhouse Graphics channel. Excuse me. My first yawn, though. Usually I yawn an awful lot during these streams. So we will be back tomorrow. That is noon to 2. I will do my absolute best to be here on time. I don't know why I have a hard time with that. So I will be here tomorrow at noon. We'll do possibly 2 more hours on this, although I don't know that it will necessarily take 2 more hours. But we're going to continue working on it. Like I said, I think it's going really good, and I'm having a pretty good time. So why don't you guys come by tomorrow and help me